Hi, my name is Christian, and we are diving back into some more freeCodeCamp JavaScript algorithms and data structures, basic JavaScript. In the last video, we covered steps 1 through 34. Today, we're picking up starting at step 35. All right, let's dive in. Use bracket notation to find the nth character in a string. You can also use bracket notation to get the character at other positions within a string. Remember that computers start counting at 0, so the first character is actually the 0th character. 0-based indexing. Example, const first name is Ada. Const second letter of first name bracket 1. Second letter of first name would have a value of the string D. Let's try to set the third letter of last name to equal the third letter of the last name variable using bracket notation. Okay, so we have const last name Lovelace. And we're only going to change the code below this line. Const third letter of last name be last name and then bracket. Because we want the third letter and we're using 0-based indexing, we're using an index number of 2. All right. And just in case you're joining me for the first time, that 85% is because I've worked ahead a little bit. And I'm just going back and I'm covering some steps to A, provide continuity of videos, and B, just sort of reinforce the concepts in my own mind as well. All right, next step. Use bracket notation to find the last character in a string. In order to get the last letter of a string, you can subtract 1 from the string's length. For example, if const first name is Ada, you can get the value of the last letter of the string by using first name bracket first name dot length minus 1. Const first name is Ada, const last letter is first name bracket first name dot length minus 1. Last letter would have a value of the string A. Use bracket notation to find the last character in the last name variable. So we have const last name is Lovelace. Const last letter of last name is last name. And then last name dot length minus 1. Give us the last letter. All right. Use bracket notation to find the nth to last character in a string. You can use the same principle we just used to retrieve the last letter in a string to retrieve the nth to last letter. For example, you can get the value of the third to last letter of the const first name Augusta string by using first name bracket first name dot length minus 3. Const first name is Augusta. Const third to last letter is first name bracket first name dot length minus 3. Third to last letter would have a value of the string S. Use bracket notation to find the second to last character in the last name string. So we have const last name Lovelace. Const second to last letter of last name is last name bracket last name dot length minus 2. Next up is word blanks. You are provided sentences with some missing words like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. You then fill in the missing pieces with words of your choice in a way that the completed sentence makes sense. Consider this sentence. It was really blank, and we blank ourselves blank. This sentence has three missing pieces: an adjective, a verb, and an adverb. And we can add words of our choice to complete it. We can then assign the completed sentence to a variable as follows. Const sentence, it was really concatenation, hot concatenation, and we laughed ourselves silly. In this challenge, we provide you with a noun, a verb, an adjective, and an adverb. You need to form a complete sentence using words of your choice along with the words we provide. You will need to use the string concatenation operator, looks like a plus symbol, to build a new string using the provided variables: my noun, my adjective, my verb, and my adverb. You will then assign the form strings to the word blanks variable. You should not change the words assigned to the variables. You will need to account for spaces in your string so that the final sentence has spaces between all the words. The result should be a complete sentence. All right, we have const my noun is dog, const my adjective is big, const my verb ran, const my adverb quickly. All right, change the code line below this line. Change this line. All right, so could use my and then my adjective representing big, and my noun representing dog, my verb representing ran, and then my adverb representing quickly. I guess we could throw a period in there too. Also need to account for spaces and yeah, we did not account for spaces. So we can add those in now. Store multiple values in one variable using JavaScript arrays. With JavaScript array variables, we can store several pieces of data in one place. You start an array declaration with an opening square bracket and end it with a closing square bracket and put a comma between each entry like this. Const sandwich is peanut butter, comma, jelly, comma, bread. Modify the new myArray so that it contains both a string and a number in that order. String 7. You can also, nest one array within another array. You can also nest arrays within other arrays like below. Const teams is bracket, and then we've got an array containing bulls and 23, then another array containing White Sox and 45, and then a closing bracket. This is also called a multi-dimensional array. Create a nested array called myArray. So, first thing we can do is create the brackets and comma. Here we have our multi-dimensional array. Access array data with indexes. We can access the data inside arrays using indexes. Array indexes are written in the same bracket notation that strings use, except that instead of specifying a character, they're specifying an entry in the array. Like strings, arrays use zero-based indexing. So the first element in an array has an index of 0. Const array is 50, 60, 70. Console log array 0. Const data is array 1. The console log array 0 prints 50 and data has the value 60. Create a variable called myData and set it to equal the first value of myArray using bracket notation. So I'm going to create a variable called myData and set it to the first value of my array using bracket notation. Modifying array data with indexes. Unlike strings, the entries of arrays are immutable and can be changed freely even if the array was declared with const. Const our array is 50, 40, 30. Our array 0 is 15. Our array now has the value 15, 40, 30. Note, there shouldn't be any spaces between the array name and the square brackets like array space bracket 0. Although JavaScript is able to process this correctly, this may confuse other programmers reading your code. Modify the data stored at index 0 of my array to a value of 45. So, write my array 0, and we reassign it to 45, like so. Access multi-dimensional arrays with indexes. One way to think of a multi-dimensional array is an array of arrays. When you use brackets to access your array, The first set of brackets refers to the entries in the outermost, the first level array, and each additional pair of brackets refers to the next level of entries inside. Example, const r is, we got an opening bracket, then an array containing 1, 2, 3, an array containing 4, 5, 6, another array containing 7, 8, 9, and then an array containing yet another array of 10, 11, 12, closing out that array, and 13 and 14, not within their own array, but within the fourth array contained within the outermost array of R. Const subarray is R3. Const nested subarray is 3, 0. Const element is R3, 0, 1, which would have a value of 11 for element. Note there shouldn't be any spaces between the array name and the square brackets, like R array 0, 0, and even this array 0 space 0 is not allowed. Although JavaScript is able to process this correctly, this may confuse other programmers reading your code. Using bracket notation, select an element from my array such that my data is equal to 8. So my array, let's see, if we were to go with an index of 0, it would give us this, none of which is 8, index of 1, none of which is 8, index of 2, then an index of 1 would give us a numeric value of 8. Manipulate arrays with the push method. An easy way to append data to the end of an array is the push method. The push method takes one or more arguments and appends them to the end of the array in the order in which they appear. It returns the new length of the array. Examples. Oh, sorry, buddy. If you're going to do that, you can't be on the table. An easy way to append data to the end of an array is via the push method. The push method takes one or more arguments and appends them to the end of the array in the order in which they appear. It returns the new length of the array. The push method takes one or more arguments and appends them to the end of the array in the order in which they appear. It returns the new length of the array. All right. Const array 1 is 1, 2, 3. Array 1 push 4, 5. Const array is Stimson J cat. Array 2 dot push happy joy. Array 1 now has the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And array 2 has the value Stimson, J, cat, and the new array happy, joy within the original array. Push dog 3 onto the end of the my array variable. So we've got my array. Push. Cool. Manipulate arrays with pop. method. Another way to change the data in an array is with the pop function. Pop is used to pop a value off the end of an array. We can store this popped off value by assigning it to a variable. In other words, pop removes the last element from an array and returns that element. Any type of entry can be popped off an array: numbers, strings, even nested arrays. Const 3 array is 146. Const 1 down is 3 array dot pop method. Console log 1 down return 6. Console log 3 array would return 1 4. Okay. Use the pop function to remove the last item from my array and assign the popped off value to a new variable removed from my array. Popo. Pop. Should store an array cat 2. Cool. Manipulate arrays with shift method. Pop always removes the last element of an array. What if you want to remove the first? That's where shift comes in. It works just like pop, except it removes the first element instead of the last. Example, const our array is Stimson J cat. Const removed from our array is our array dot shift. Removed from our array would have a value of the string Stimson, and our array would have J cat. Use the shift function to remove the first item from my array. Assign the shifted off value to the new variable removed from my array. Manipulate arrays with unshift method. Not only can you shift elements off of the beginning of an array, you can also unshift elements to the beginning of an array, i.e. add elements in front of the array. Unshift works exactly like push, but instead of adding the element at the end of the array, unshift adds the element at the beginning of the array. Example, const our array is Stimson J cat. Our array dot shift our array happy. After the shift, our array would have the value J cat. After the unshift, our array would have the value happy J cat. Add Paul35 to the beginning of the myArray variable using unshift. Alright, shopping list. Create a shopping list in the variable myList. The list should be a multi-dimensional array containing several subarrays. The first element in each subarray should contain a string with the name of the item. The second element should be a number representing the quantity, i.e., chocolate bar 15. There should be at least 5 subarrays in the list. Okay. Start with our first subarray. Do eggs. Sweet potatoes. 6. Bag of rice. 1. Raisins. All right. Write reusable JavaScript with functions. In JavaScript, we can divide up our code into reusable parts called functions. Here's an example of a function. Function name, console log, hello world. You can call or invoke this function by using its name followed by parentheses. Sorry, my cat's hunting a bug. It's on the desk. Silly cat. Did you eat it? Oh, cat. You can call or invoke this function by using its name followed by parentheses like this. Function name, parentheses, semicolon. Each time the function is called, it will print out the message, hello world, on the dev console. All of the code between the curly braces will be executed every time the function is called. Create a function called reusable function, which prints the string hi world to the dev console. Call the function. All right, we use the function keyword. Passing values to functions with arguments. Parameters are variables that act as placeholders for the values that are to be input to a function when it is called. When a function is defined, it is typically defined along with one or more parameters. The actual values that are input or passed into a function when it is called are known as arguments. Here is a function with two parameters, param1 and param2. Function testFun param1 param2 console log param1 param2. We can then call testFun like this: testFun hello world. We have passed two string arguments, hello and world. Inside the function, param1 will equal the string hello and param2 will equal the string world. Note that you could call testFun again with different arguments than parameters would take on the value of the new arguments. Create a function called function with args. That accepts two arguments and outputs their sum to the dev console. And then we have the output, which is the sum of the two arguments. Return a value from a function with return. We can pass values into a function with arguments. You can reuse a return statement to send a value back out of a function. Example, function +3 takes the parameter num, return num +3. Const answer is +3 with an argument of 5. Answer has the value 8. +3 takes an argument for num and returns a value equal to num +3. Create a function times 5. That accepts one argument multiplies it by 5 and returns the new value. In global scopes and functions. In JavaScript, scope refers to the visibility of variables. Variables which are defined outside of a function block have global scope. This means they can be seen everywhere in your JavaScript code. Variables which are declared without the let or const keywords are automatically created in the global scope. This can create unintended consequences elsewhere in your code or when running a function again. You should always declare your variables with let or const. Using let or const, declare a global variable named myGlobal outside of any function. Initialize it with a value of 10. declare the my global variable below this line, so it's outside the function. The value of 10. Inside function fun1 assign 5 to oops global without using the var, let, or const keywords. Variables which are declared within a function, as well as the function parameters, have local scope. This means they're only visible within that function. Here's a function myTest with a local variable called LOC. Function myTest const LOC is foo. Console log LOC. myTest console log LOC. The myTest function will display the string foo inside the console. The console log LOC line outside of the myTest function will throw an error as LOC is not defined outside the function. The editor has 2 console logs to help you see what is happening. Check the console as you code to see how it changes. Declare a local variable myVar inside my local scope and run the tests. So let's check what we have. Function myLocalScope, only change code below this line, console log inside my local scope, myVar, and then my local scope. I see. So my local scope prints the console, the string inside my local scope, and then my var, which is assigned to 3. So inside my local scope, 3. And then outside, okay, we call my local scope, and that prints this first line to the development console. And then we run the console log again, not using the function myLocalScope, and that prints, well, would print outside my local scope and then myVar, except for the fact that myVar is not defined outside the local scope, so it throws an error and doesn't print anything. All right, I've run out of time for today, but I really appreciate you joining me, and we'll continue on in the next video. God bless. Have a good one. Bye.